you, so we're just going to turn this into a party, and I hope your relatives understand.
Hey, no problem.
Well, what are some of your bucket list items while you would be over there, do you think?
In the UK, I really want to. I really want to sit down with the group a little bit more and see how they investigate. Because they, the paranormals. I feel the the paradrama that we have in the US, they really don't have in the UK. So I'm interested to see what
Well,
they do differently.
I think you probably could figure out why, because they're not there trying to self promote and get on television.
Well, that's part of it.
It is
Um,
a large part of that, and there's always, it seems that nobody, yeah, I judged a paranormal evidence contest last year, and it was such a great opportunity. There were great prizes. There was, nothing underhanded about it, nothing that was going to be like stealing your evidence and sharing as your own or whatever it is that people are so terrified of sharing evidence about. We're supposed to all be working toward the same goal. And
exactly.
there were a ridiculously small number of entries into that competition. I mean, it was ludicrous. And people gave up a chance to have some great opportunities by not doing by not being willing to participate and share and just have conversation. It was crazy.
Yes, people. We just got to learn how to get along. And stop being so damn territorial.
And paranoid.
I think there's a lot. There's a few people in the paranormal that I look at as Daffy Duck, jumping on the pile of money, yelling "mine, mine, 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 mine," But
Yes, I do know.
that's crazy because the more that we get together, the more that we share evidence and share ideas and work towards a common goal and look at this more scientifically and more as an experiment and more as data collection and writing things down and sharing the is the only way we're ever going to understand. you know
It is.
Having it, which is why, I mean, at Salem Con I had such a great time sitting and talking in depth on some concepts and ideas, like with Jeff Conical and Scott Grunwald, and about equipment and what if this is this, and just share some ideas, which we do over it's not just at cons. I mean, those guys, I talk to on a very regular basis. And, Jeff and I talk a lot about a lot of the great things that he builds and, the way we look into things. And there's several others that, you need to build a network of people that you could talk to and that you could share ideas and concepts with.
Well, absolutely. And, last night we did a investigation that was really interesting, and it was the first time that I had been the subject in a Gansfield experiment.
Oh, cool.
And it was actually very intense. I had not realized just how intense that was going to be.
I love all the variations that are going on with the sensory deprivation experiments now. We've been doing them on and off over the years,
Mm-hmm.
and it's in this resurgence. Well, of course, because it was on TV, so now everybody's got to do it. So life mimics art.
Well, we've been mimicking that for years. So.
Yes, and it's an awesome. But the variations on it that I've seen are interesting. And yesterday when I was out with Brian, we were down at Fort Mifflin in Philadelphia, Brian Cano, and we talked a little bit about that. And it was interesting. And we broke off in groups and kind of went in different locations and different things. And I wanted to see. I was with a group of people. Some were seasoned investigators, some weren't. And I just kind of sat back and I was there, kind of watched. I wanted to see how they do things and learn different, you never know. You're going to walk away with something.
Exactly.
You can walk away with something. Somebody could come up, somebody who is on their first paranormal investigation ever shows up at a public event with you and opens your eyes to something that you never thought of or looked at, because, fresh eyes are awesome.
Yes.
That's why we need to chat with each other.
Well, I find it interesting because, you and Scott chat. Scott lives all the way in California. He is not, to my knowledge, Mr. Salem Con. He's one of the most interesting people on the planet, present company excluded. And I think that
I cannot wear leggings like he does.
Well, what about the tutu?
I plead the fifth. Chris, be quiet.
But he's one of the better researchers in the field, and he is so self-deprecating on that. He focuses on other stuff in his social media that people generally don't know.
Right. They don't realize the talent that he has.
Exactly. And the knowledge base.
Absolutely.
He is one of my favorite people in this field.
Well, this is why, when you go to paranormal conventions, or if you go to, public events, do a little research about who's running the events, do a little research about who's going there. Mm-hmm. And I would say 9 out of 10 people that if you walked up to them at a paranormal convention and started asking questions, they would answer them for you. And I don't. Exactly. Yeah, you may get stuck there. We Thursday night, we were in Salem, day before the actual thing started on Friday and Saturday, and we were there on Thursday, and walked in and got a big hug from Scott, a big hug from Jeff, and Jeff and I sat down, and before you knew it, it was like 3 hours went by, and it's like, oh yeah, we're gonna go for dinner now. Yeah,
sure we are.
Sure, it's 9 o'clock at night. It's 5 o'clock somewhere, so we could go for dinner. It's 5 o'clock somewhere. So we went for dinner, not drinks dinner.
Well, it works for drinks too.
No, it doesn't.
The 5 o'clock somewhere.
Yeah, I couldn't get sweet tea in Boston, so that kind of. Or in Salem, so that kind of drove me crazy.
Well, do you want me to tell you a secret about that?
Sure.
When I was in New York, I could not find sweet tea anywhere at all, period. My daughter had moved to Brooklyn, and I was having DTs. I walked up to a McDonald's and said, "Do you have sweet tea?"
Yes, they do.
Yes, they do. And they have it in Denver. And they have it in Vegas. They have it everywhere. It's awesome. Like a thing.
So I'll have to go to McDonald's to get my sweet tea fix when I'm traveling. Thank you for that. That's very important.
It is very important.
Because it's just not, because people look at you and they'll go, well, here we have sugar. You can have sugar. No, that's not the way it's done.
Like as if.
Not the way it's done.
Not at all. I went to a barbecue place that tried to tell me that they had sweet tea, and they were so yanking my chain. It was not sweet tea. I feel your pain.
Yes.
But have you always lived in Pennsylvania? I know that you were here for a while. But
yes, I have been in Pennsylvania. I was born here. My family moved out to California. I came back here. They moved back here. I basically went to school here. Chris is a born New Englander. She's a Vermonter, so she's a New Englander, and which makes football season pretty interesting around our house. Well, Patriots, Steelers, But anyway, I can no longer say I got 6 and they don't. So. This year will be the deciding tiebreaker. But anyway, yes, but mostly stayed in Pennsylvania. Myself. Chris,
Vermont, Pennsylvania, Ohio, bounced around between Vermont mostly and Pennsylvania. So Pennsylvania is very similar to New England in some ways. The mountains, the fall foliage. So it's an easy compromise.
The syrup is better in Vermont.
There's only one syrup, and that's Vermont.
I would agree with that. And I'm not even from there, but I know that's where I prefer mine to come. Although I did receive some Canadian syrup a couple of weeks ago, and I've got to say,
it's not bad. Not bad. Now, the key to maple syrup is the fancier the syrup, and grade A is very light in color. The darker it is, the more flavor it has. Mm-hmm. So I prefer the grade C, which is baking maple syrup, and that has the most flavor. The fancy stuff for sure. Oh, yes.
They do.
Yes.
I got schooled on that 10 years ago.
It's important information.
And well, that, and you know how no one likes plain donuts? True. They're always the ones left in the box, but they're great with maple syrup.
Anything is great with maple syrup.
You dunk them, they're awesome. It's great. I learned that too.
I didn't hear what she said, Bill. What was that?
She said she almost had to kick our daughter out of the house.
The first time she had pancakes here, she wanted Aunt Jemima.
Sure.
Almost kicked her out.
Well, Mrs. Butterworth's, I could probably see that being a contender, but not really much over the maple. And, you know, we are about to come up on another little 2-minute break.
And you're talking syrup talk with Kate Hobson.
There you go. Fate Magazine Radio, where we cover everything from UFOs and abductions and paranormal and Project Blue Book and the grades of Vermont syrup. We're fearless on the Fate Mag Radio show. So with that being said, though, we are going to take our little 2-minute break, and we've got some questions coming up in chat for y'all. So, and for anyone listening, if you want to get in on chat, if you want to bring your questions, this is a great opportunity, and these are some great sources to get your paranormal questions answered. You can go to www.wbhm-db, as in digital broadcasting.com, and you'll see a listen live link, and you'll see a live chat link. Click either one. And you can also listen through www.fatemag.com. So we'll be back after these messages. Well, actually, this music. Enjoy this. This is one of my favorite pieces.
You are listening to WBHM Digital Broadcasting, the best in paranormal talk, only on Paranormal Experience Radio. Broadcasting live out of Birmingham, Alabama.